from tornado. It says, let's see, areas northeast of Lowell. We're keeping an eye on that area, north and northeast of Lowell. You can see where the circle is right there. That's the area that we're watching. And if you are to the east of that particular circle that we drew, you want to be down in your storm shelter at this point in time. Even without the tornado situation, this storm has consistently produced wind gusts to around 50 to 50 miles an hour, and that has downed trees. It's also, earlier we had storms that produced hail up to golf ball size. So this storm has multiple threats, though the leading threat with this is the possibility of a brief tornado touchdown.
So I'm going to clear this off for a second and try to make this really clean, because there's a lot going on right here, and I know sometimes in situations like this it gets a little scary. What we're going to do is we're going to turn on shear tracks here for you so we can see where the biggest rotation is, and we're going to click everything else off, all the other information that's coming in for us off. And that way we can really clearly see where that storm is and where that rotation is. The brighter the bullseye, the stronger the rotation that we're seeing. Here's right about where the severe thunderstorm started on the east side of Grand Rapids, and here's where we saw that signature tighten up even more so. Okay, so that's Grand Rapids, that's on the east side. If you live on the west side, you should be just fine right now in terms of that tornadic threat. Let's zoom in on the areas affected. Ada, just on the north side, is where we saw again that tightening, and then Lowell. Lowell, I think, especially on the north side, you need to be very cognizant of this storm and get inside and stay safe. This is moving very fast. So rolling on the north side of Lowell at about 8:13 or so. I'm going to go ahead and put it into animation so that we can get the track right. 8:13 on the north side of Lowell. That's when we could see a potential tornado spin up. It's not a guarantee, but it is definitely a threat, because there is that possibility, one, from the rotation, and two, the fact that we've seen some damage, maybe even lofted, some debris lofted into the radar. As Bill mentioned, this is going to get ready to move into the Ionia County here pretty quickly. So after it passes Lowell, we're going to continue this track forward here. And this is going to move closer to the Ionia area and even Portland. This means Berlin Center at around 8:21, Ionia County around 8:25, Ionia itself 8:24, and Lowell City 8:08.
Sirens continue to sound throughout Kent County, but again, the area we're concerned about is in the eastern part of the country, between Ada, Lowell, and out towards Saranac and Clarksville. We do have a report on power outages right now. I'm told that we have over 20,000 customers without power, and you can see it's kind of in a line right here, starting out in Ottawa County and going right through the northern part of Kent County here, just right on through the city of Grand Rapids. I had mentioned that I was seeing gusts to about 40 here in downtown Grand Rapids, and we're kind of sheltered a little bit here. Substantial power outages there. There's a look at the wide view. You can see thunderstorms extend all the way back to Milwaukee. So as these storms continue to move east, we'll have a continued threat of severe weather. We are under a severe thunderstorm watch. That watch will continue until 11 p.m. this evening. Severe thunderstorm warning for Kent County and for Ionia County will continue here until the threat is over. As you can see, these storms pack some very heavy rain. You couldn't see across the street here in downtown Grand Rapids as that wind and rain came through. We have out there now the Ionia camera. As you can see, we have a camera at the Ionia Fair, and you're looking at a little bit of twilight left out there. The storms are coming your way, so if you're in Ionia, expect some strong gusty winds, some heavy rain, and the possibility, outside chance for one of these brief spin-up tornadoes. The strongest part of the storm right now is over eastern Kent County around the Lowell area. The storm produced measured wind gusts to 53 miles an hour in East Grand Rapids, an estimated 45 to 50 mile an hour gust in Ottawa County on Leonard Street. And you can see by those power outages that we showed you earlier from west to east where the strongest winds have been.
I'm concerned about the town Lowell itself. There's the potential that this rotation went right over the town of Lowell, and it's continued to drop south as it follows that boundary. And see the bright red bullseye here? That's where, again, we've been seeing the strongest rotation. And if we look at what it looks like just on reflectivity, just plain old rain, and already wouldn't be surprised if this started to move towards the Boston area. just kind of getting my bearings here so that we can tell people that are in the line of sight to take cover a little bit more quickly. Again, moving very quickly at about 50 miles per hour and well within that warning box here. So again, Lowell just saw that signature roll through just on top of M21. Wouldn't be surprised if this is headed towards the Boston area now. Boston, if you can, please get inside as quickly as possible. Get away from those windows. Make sure to head to the basement. Those are the things that you need to do in this situation. Everything else can wait. Just get your friends and family inside and in a safe spot. And that is really the spot that I'm most concerned about, Bill, because it's where that boundary and the storm continue to interact as the entire thing drops down to the south. Very eerie feeling situation outside. We still have the sirens, we got the winds, we got the rain.
We just had a gust over 50 miles an hour at the Ford Airport.
So much.
51 miles an hour there.
And this is something that could continue on, not just for Kent County and Ionia County, but for all of us tonight. We're watching for that potential of a strong to severe thunderstorm or even a brief spin-up tornado. So again,
the wind in Ionia, it's interesting here, north at 10, gust 28. So, you know, that boundary coming down is shooting the air north out of the storms, or, you know, from the storms to the north. That area is shooting that air off to the south, meeting the air coming in from the west. All that air is converging and coming together. And as it does, it has no place to go. It can't go down into the ground, so it has to lift up. It builds up the clouds, produces the updrafts that lead to a spin-up tornado like this.
Just watching the rotation as it moves forward here. Kind of watching on a loop so that we can watch how the storm is formed. Right now, I think there's a little bit of a weakening in the rotation now that it's just dropped south of Lowell. So the last couple of scans here, the signature to me does not look as strong as it did just a bit ago. So bear with me at home here. I'm going to zoom out the radar a bit. Again, here is where the tornado warning is. This is the storm, and we're looking at winds inside the storm. Here's where the greatest circulation is. Step back in time here. Look at how that tightened up. That was a very strong signature on the east side of Grand Rapids. Then as it passed on down, strengthened a bit, and then started to weaken now that it's passed through Lowell. It's a great sign. It's a great sign. So Bill, in my opinion, the last couple of scans, as it rolled towards the Lowell area, this storm started to weaken quite a bit.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I tell you what, as the winds kind of calm down here too, you'd expect there'd be less of a chance of a tornado.
Yes.
Than what we've already had, that the outflow boundaries coming together here help to touch this off. I've got, by the way, consumers with 26,882 without power. Most of those are in Kent County, and there's quite a stretch. You can really see where the heaviest winds have been with the outages coming in eastern Ottawa County and right through the downtown area. We lost power here. I believe we're still on generator.
Yes.
But the power outages really start north of Allendale, go through Talmadge Township, Walker-Standale area, right through the west and north sides of Grand Rapids, right along 196 through downtown Grand Rapids, and all the way out toward Regents Township, all the way out to Lowell. There's quite a stretch there that probably experienced winds of 50 to 60 miles an hour.
That means all of you guys could be getting big gusts and maybe even power outages, as Bill just mentioned. Notice that we have several counties still within that severe thunderstorm watch that was issued earlier today, saying that a severe thunderstorm or a brief tornado is possible. Out of this entire line, the box that's indicated by the tornado warning, that's where the strongest storm is at this point in time. But great news, starting to see a little bit of weakening in terms of rotation, at least. We're still going to watch it because we still have this collision between two different air masses that we're seeing on the radar. But I would say, Bill, Kent County, at least for the tornadic circulation, looks like it's in the clear at this point in time. All of it is moving now into Ionia County. Right now, the threat level is slightly diminished, but it could pop back up at any time.
Yeah, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, too, east all the way to just north of Lansing there and east of there toward Shiawassee County. We're putting a track on that right now. Portland, the storm gets to you at 8:30. At Ionia to 8:17, and again we have a camera there at Ionia keeping an eye on things there. The tornado warning for eastern Kent and Ionia County runs until 8:30, so we got another 15 minutes on that here where they're going to keep that going here, I believe. Here's a new message coming in right now. This is tracking east-southeast along the boundary. Looks like Lowell portion is gusting out with potential for circulation redevelopment between Saranac and Clarksville. The tornado warning for Kent County is over. We have now eliminated the tornado warning for Kent County. It continues here for the Ionia County portion of the storm. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a brief tornado was located over Saranac, 7 miles east of Lowell. It is moving southeast at around 55 miles an hour.
So two things. The one is that it's moving southeast, just as we anticipated as it interacted with that boundary. Two, even though the threat isn't ongoing right now, there could be redevelopment. Also, just like we're seeing, it's so great to have meteorologists at the National Weather Service that we can talk to. So that's more than just the two of us saying, hey, do you see this? Yeah, because everyone is trying to work towards that same goal of keeping everyone safe. Here are a few current tracks as it moves south at 55 miles per hour. Portland, 828. Eagle, 836. Sebawa, that's 824, and Tremaine Corners, 819. Those are the people right now that need to get inside and take cover, and I'm so proud of West Michigan because you always do this. You always do the right move. In fact, our political reporter, Rick Albin, did just that in the Cannonsburg area. He's in the basement taking cover as this storm rolled through. He's, now that the storm is passed, out kind of looking to survey some damage or at least getting some reports. Rick, do you have us here? Are you live on the line with us?
Yeah, absolutely. I am, Ellen, and it was everything that you described. Fast-moving, lots of lightning, heavy winds, came up in a hurry. You could see something building. In fact, soccer practice for one of our sons got canceled like so many else, other people did. And so when we got home, we saw this moving in, and then in a matter of moments, it was right on top of us, and it moved out just as quickly as it moved in. I'm looking around a little bit now. I'm not going to venture too far. The good news is we have power, at least in our area. But it was a really intense few minutes, but maybe the good news is it was just a few minutes.
Yes, this thing is moving so quickly, 50 to 55 miles per hour, and that's why we're trying to urge people out ahead of it. You just heard from Rick Albin, it moves fast, so get inside fast. Something else that we noticed here, we're on generator now, Rick. The lights flashed, very eerie sound. I've seen a lot of storms, but I haven't heard sounds like that quite before. Did you hear anything, any of the winds rushing as it was passing through?
Yeah, no, where I grew up, we had a lot of these kind of storms. It was very reminiscent of that, except it was so short-lived. But you heard a lot of wind making some pretty eerie noises, you accurately described, and it came up quickly, and by the time we kind of were situated and kind of trying to do it in an orderly, non-emergency fashion, it was pretty much past us, as you say. I still have a lot of lightning that I can see, but I think I'm looking at the back end of the storm now.
Rick Albin, thank you so much. Everyone, please listen to Rick. Smart guy, got inside because these storms are moving quickly, and at any time we could see another brief spin-up tornado with this one that moved through Kent and is now in Ionia County. Thank you, Rick Albin. We'll go ahead and let you go, and if you see anything else storm survey-wise, please let us know.
You know I will.
Want to do a brief reset for those of you just joining us. I know there's a lot of activity, a lot of showers and storms that are forming. There is only one tornado warning in West Michigan at this point in time, and that tornado warning is moving into Ionia County. If we look at just plain old radar here, this is what you're used to seeing. You can see that red box indicating Ionia County and the spot where the strongest storm is with a lot of lightning. But notice that storm has started to build down into Allegan and Van Buren counties. So far, Ottawa, Allegan, Van Buren, you're in the clear. We're going to zoom in on that one storm that has caused the most trouble and potentially even some storm damage. This one that's tracking at 55 miles per hour in Ionia County, on the north side of Lake Odessa, between Ionia and Lake Odessa, right around I-96 and M66. This is well within that watch box that was issued earlier today saying, hey, we might have some strong to severe storms that form. And what's happening is this storm just keeps getting a lot of low-level spin that kicks up because it's rolling over a boundary. I'm going to put some tracks on here, and I'm going to let Bill Steffen talk about some of the damage that we've been seeing across the area.
Yeah, I just talked to our assignment desk downtown, and they report many reports of trees and wires down. I want to caution you that With these wires down, there certainly may be a live power line down somewhere, and you certainly want to stay away from any power lines that are down as far away as possible. Water is a good conductor of electricity, and there's water that runs in streams when we get a storm like this, and if there's a live wire down in that stream can be electrified for dozens of feet on one side or the other. So again, stay away from any down power lines. Don't assume they are dead, assume they are live wires, and you want to stay as far away from them as you can. Police agencies report that there are numerous trees down across the area, and they're dealing with this as best they can. But certainly not a good idea to drive in some of those places where there may be trees down. We've had numerous reports of wind gusts to around 40 to 60 miles an hour with these storms as they have come through. The power outage situation, we're still well over 20,000 customers without power in Kent County. That's a large portion of the county, and this is centered from an area from Allendale through parts of Talmadge Township into the area just south of Marne has lost power. Walker over to the downtown Grand Rapids area and off toward the east. Wind gusts top 50 miles an hour at the Ford Airport. I estimated winds were at least 40 miles an hour here downtown, and we're in kind of a sheltered area here. If you have severe weather that you'd like to report to us and you're in a safe place, obviously that's the biggest concern. If you're in that tornado warning, you should be in a place of safety. But if you're able to call us, our number is 1-800-8-WOOD-TV. Again, 1-800-8-WOOD-TV, or send us an email too. This particular line of storms is going to continue to work its way off to the south. If you have not seen a thunderstorm yet, if you're in Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, and you've missed out on the storm so far, this line is coming south toward you, and you can expect some strong gusty winds, even the possibility for an isolated hail report as these storms continue on through. If you're looking at the screen right now, what you're doing is you're looking at the warning, which is that red polygon right there. And you can see the colors that you see. There's an outflow boundary coming down from the north-northeast. Watch up at the top left of the screen, and you'll see that coming on down toward the south-southwest. That meets the storm coming in from the northwest. And where those two meet, there's a lot of air convergence. In the Ionia area, they were getting winds as high as 28 miles an hour from the north, and that was meeting the wind gusts that were coming from the west here in downtown Grand Rapids at perhaps 40 to 50 miles an hour. That's a lot of air that's just coming together and meeting at the surface. That air is forced to shoot up, and that updraft not only feeds the thunderstorms, but is also enough to produce these small spin-up tornadoes.
Our temperatures dropped from the mid-80s down to about 68 degrees as this rain-cooled air rolled on through. And one of the reasons why we get wind gusts is because all of that rain-cooled air rushes down to the ground and then spreads out. I just, as Bill was talking, telling you about that boundary interaction, wanted to see where the current intersection is between the two. And I really think that the actual circulation of the tornado, if one were to pop back up, is taking that sharp dive on the south side of that warning box. That means West Clarksville Road, Musgrove Highway, if you live there, if you live on East Clarksville Road, just on the north side of Lake Odessa.